This should be needless to say, but all views, opinions, expressions, and curse words represent solely those of the douchebag stating them and does not represent Mike and Adam's employers, family, churches, congressmen or women, dogs, cats, guinea pigs, wives, or child. None of this should be taken seriously, and if you do, we appreciate your concern, but not really, and really cannot and will not change anything about our process. Sorry, Mom. Welcome to The Skinny with Mike and Adam. Two well-informed adolescent men in search of an audience.
Can you believe it's been 10 episodes, my friend Adam?
You
You had to wait till I hit record to do that song, didn't you?
It sounds like it needs to be a Rocky theme in
like
the background. Like we actually made it to 10
wow,
episodes.
10 episodes and like 18 viewers.
18 viewers, so that's almost two per episode.
Yeah, no, look at that.
Like it averages
I
out.
love it.
Good old math.
Yeah.
All right, so what is new, my
now
friend?
I'm sad.
I think we're doing fine.
Okay.
As you know, we get like 4 or 5 extra views throughout the week.
But those, I'm telling you, those are mistakes.
Well, if you go back to episode 1, I mean, we got like over 80 views.
Mistakes. Wait, what episode is this? That's not. I don't want episode 1. Click.
Click off.
Oh well. On with this show.
Yay.
Hey everybody, I am your humble co-host Mike.
Hello.
Joining me once again, as always, for the 10th time in a row.
The 10th time, the 10th week.
The 10th week in a row.
We've completed an entire quarter of college work.
I love it, yeah.
Wow.
What
Time
grade
flies.
did we get?
I think I failed my midterm. And
We
was able to do a
definitely-
little bit of extra credit with a little bit of like,
Yes.
and that helped. That helped to get up to a C. So
You're talking about episode 1. Yeah.
yes.
I think you're right. We're doing good.
We're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, we're having fun. I think that's the most important part.
Yes, exactly.
But you know what would be even better, even more fun?
The feed?
Almost. But damn it, now I gotta edit that out.
Sorry.
What would be more fun if our fans were to spread the word and like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube, because what we wanted to do this episode was to do a full Q&A session, but that didn't happen.
We got one question last week.
We got one question
We addressed it.
Yeah, last week's episode I liked a lot because it was off off the beaten path, and
It worked out pretty well.
And we didn't
we
have-
spent like what, an hour just talking about those two questions.
oh yeah, that was good.
That was
I
the
liked it a
entire
lot.
show.
Yeah, but if you enjoyed last week's episode, my dear audience, you should definitely submit your questions to us as well. You can do so via any outlet, whether it be on Facebook. You can comment or message us if you want to be anonymous. You can comment us on YouTube. You can also send us messages there if you want. Who cares? If you know us personally, you can send us questions on our personal pages. Ask us anything about the show. Ask questions that you might want to know about us personally. And please ask us topical questions, just like we had last week.
You can even ask us to the size of our penises.
Yeah.
We'll be okay with that.
Full disclosure.
I know.
Because we are real journalists.
Exactly.
So we should probably just go into the feed.
The feed.
There's nothing special about this episode, so we're going into the feed. All right, so we got a plethora of topics, and we should probably just jump right into it.
We have plenty of time to talk about them because we don't have any viewer mail.
Nope, no
Any
viewer mail
questions.
this week.
Even
because-
Martin Daw did not even comment and say thank you for answering our questions.
I think you were right.
That's
Like
all right.
he gave up like 5 minutes into the question. Like, we got it.
It's like bored. I found out for myself between the time I asked the question and when you guys actually got around to it. So fuck you guys.
But don't take Martin Daw's word for it. You should submit your questions anyway, because we want our egos boosted.
Of course, we are the Generation Y.
Exactly.
That just says click like.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all we care about.
Well, eventually this is going to be our career. So
Chris Hardwick.
We know you're listening, so we need you to reach out to us because we're not going to do it ourselves.
No. We don't know how to get through your entourage of people.
You're the Gen Xer, so we're the Gen Yer.
There's us, and then there's like 50 nerds, and then
Yeah.
the king of the nerds.
King of the nerds,
is on the
Chris
other end of
Hardwick.
that.
Did you get my nudes?
I hope so. I hope so.
But, hey, speaking of nudes, by the way, I didn't even set that up properly, but I didn't do that on purpose. But speaking
Good
of
segue.
nudes, this past Sunday on August 24th was National Go Topless Day, the 5th annual in Venice Beach, California.
And I wish we would have known about that last week.
Where were we?
I was, of course, nude in your dungeon lair,
Right.
recording our podcast
On Saturday, yes.
But we were like there, and nobody could see us, and it was dark and cool.
Were we doing it in protest, though?
I was doing it to be ironic.
Okay.
That's just what I do.
Because us Gen Yers, that's what we do.
We get
ironic.
naked. We hang out in layers. We, yeah.
But yeah, so Go Topless Day in Venice Beach, California is a annual event. This is the 5th one that they held. It's actually for women's equal rights to be topless in public. Are you aware of this issue at all, Adam?
I am aware that this is an issue that needs to be addressed.
Yes.
And by addressed, I mean undressed.
Oh, so I'm not speaking specifically from a pervy standpoint, because from a perv standpoint, I mean, I'm in the position that the more tits, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
then you got to think about some of those tits that sometimes need to be.
Well, there's sometimes man tits that come out.
Well, that's true.
That are perfectly legal.
That's true.
To be out in public.
That's true.
Yeah.
So okay.
So we got it. So there is I don't know if you guys are aware, but there is this a movement right now for equal rights for women to be out in public without being cited or without being arrested, to be out in public. Without their tops up, exposing their breastises, their breasticles.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah, so I mean,
equal rights. The Equal Rights Amendment was, squashed back in the 70s.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that if that had passed, women would be able to go topless.
It's a repressed kind of thing, because
it really is. It's very puritanical.
Yeah, very.
The way they force women to cover only the nipple.
Yes. So it's perfectly okay to have tape around the nipples and be topless. But once the nipple's exposed, I mean, that's your citation right there.
That's the devil. I mean, yeah. It's
Jesus cries.
Jesus cries, of course, and young men's minds turn to lust.
Oh yeah, and we can't stop raping.
We can't.
Yeah,
seriously. I asked all those women in your dungeon, like, what makes me rape?
Oh Jesus!
And they said, it's my nipple. If I could just cover this up.
See, if we just covered up the nipple, then you women wouldn't get raped all the time, right? But
Wait, this isn't good for fighting for our beliefs.
We're being sarcastic, of course. But in all seriousness, Adam, you've never seen the show Penn and Teller Bullshit, right?
No.
They did a great episode if anybody's willing to check it out on this topic, and they do it a lot more. They're a lot funnier than me and Adam.
But they might actually script things.
Yeah, but but the short of it is that women do deserve the equal right to be out in public topless. I mean,
I think so.
I'm not saying that in a perv stance.
Right.
Yeah.
The only bad thing is, we talked about those guys that hang out at malls and check out little girls sometimes.
Oh yeah,
there's going to be a lot of creepy guys hanging out at.
There's creepy guys when women are clothed. Dude.
I guess so.
You're not going to get rid of creepy guys just by covering up women.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
But I would just be, again, concerned for the women.
Yeah.
Who don't like to be oogled sometimes.
Well,
but
some women just like to be.
I mean, when a guy takes his shirt off, he wants to be oogled. When a girl takes her shirt off and exposes everything, I'm thinking she's asking for it. She's asking for a guy to look at her objectively.
Okay,
not to be raped.
Yeah, I didn't know where you're going there, so I don't want to answer you.
Oh, Mike.
Oh, Adam. So tell us what you guys think. If you guys were aware of this issue at all, let us know. Comment below.
I think this is important to know. It should have been discussed at the RNC this week.
Oh yeah.
I think Paul Ryan may have mentioned it a little bit when he was talking about Chris Christie.
Yes, he's got lots of boobs.
There's a lot of boobs on that guy, so maybe we should make sure he's got equal rights.
But more on the dipshit RNC later, I guess.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, so we should move on. A new study was actually conducted from Duke University. Adam, do you want to go?
Duke University, reminding our fellow young teenagers that maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to toke up that blunt.
Yeah.
Did I say that white enough?
You can go a little wider.
Do not toke on that blunt, young person. For your
very good.
IQ may drop. So they did a study, like we said, Duke University did a study of 1,037 New Zealand children for 25 years.
That's a long study, too.
Definitely. Subjects took an IQ test at age 13 before any of them had ever smoked marijuana, and again at age 38.
I want to know how that begins. Like, hey, 13-year-olds, you want to smoke some pot for 25 years?
Well, they were comparing the ones who actually did
Right.
smoke and then the ones who didn't smoke
Right,
for
okay.
the entire time. So, and there's only about 1,037 people in New Zealand.
That's
anyway,
true.
So they just covered their bases. So roughly 5% of the participants started using marijuana as teenagers. So 5%, very
Okay.
small of the 1,000 people. Those who smoked marijuana at least 4 times a week and used marijuana throughout their life saw their IQ drop an average of 8 points.
Good golly.
The equivalent of going from an A to a B student.
Good golly. That is pretty significant, then.
That is pretty significant. But then again, it is New Zealand, and there's not a lot to do there except for herding sheep and smoking pot.
and creating indie bands.
Of course.
Yeah.
Folk
Folk indie bands.
folk
yeah.
indie bands.
Extra credit points for anybody who gets that reference in
Come
comments
on,
below.
people, you know what it is. People who eventually quit smoking pot still had lower IQs than they did at the start of the study. Interestingly, people who picked up the habit as adults had no IQ drop.
And I think that is the most interesting part of this article.
Very much.
I mean, so it must have something to do with brain development.
It's not harmful to the mature brain from what it's saying.
That is very interesting. So kids, you hear that? You wait until you're about 38 to start smoking pots.
So it's just because, your brain isn't fully developed until
Right,
you're,
exactly.
38-ish. So, the brain chemistry is all screwed up, and it affects, what does it say here? During adolescence, neural connections are pruned in the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, critical regions for learning, memory, and planning.
Good golly! Now that's quite an important study. I'm glad that they went ahead and did that.
I think it's good to know. I don't know how many teenage viewers we have to our podcast, but we're trying to get the word out.
And how many of them will actually listen to that?
I would much rather them listen to that all-important indie folk band.
Very
from
true.
Oops. From New Zealand, and maybe not smoke weed. Although I think that if you smoke weed and you listen to them, you might enjoy it even more.
I enjoy it just fine. I've never smoked weed.
I do too. Okay, so basically it's also saying, but those who consistently smoke marijuana may simply make less intellectually stimulating choices at critical points in life.
That's another good point too. So we don't know for sure if it's the actual marijuana affecting the brain or
if you
just
wait,
personal choice.
And if you wait till you get to college
Right.
to smoke weed, you're already in college.
Yeah.
So you're already
You're a
doing
genius
pretty good.
already. You know everything.
Right.
You liberal douchebag.
You 1%er fucker. So, what we're just saying is be careful with the marijuana. It'll make you stupid
Be
if you start
informed.
too young.
I mean, as you heard last week in our On the Plate segment, Adam and I very much support the full legalization of marijuana.
But for people 21 and over, I think is...
Yeah, we should probably put an asterisk right there, right?
I think so. Just like with alcohol, we support legalizing alcohol.
Yes.
Because, they may take that away at some point. You never know.
Yeah, Republicans, man.
Yeah, exactly. So 21 and over, though. None of this 18 and over bullshit. That's just crap.
Oh yeah, that's just crazy. You don't want adults.
Because if you can
making
go to
adult decisions.
war and you can, buy cigarettes, why can't you buy alcohol?
Because Republicans, man. Pop quiz. Who was the Republican that raised the drinking limit to 21?
Richard Nixon.
Nope.
Oh wait, was it Ronald Reagan?
It was.
Okay,
Ding,
sorry.
ding, ding.
Nixon lowered the voting age.
That's right,
From
yeah.
21 to 18. So
That's right.
sorry, got him back.
Sweet. So moral of the story is
Republicans make life miserable for 18 to 21 year olds.
That's true, but we'll talk about that later.
Sorry.
We'll talk about that later during On the Plate segment because last week was a very important week for.
It was kind of an important week, but it was really stupid.
It was,
for
and
the
we'll
rest of
talk
us.
about that. But the moral of the story is make an informed decision. We're not your parents, so we're not going to tell you to not smoke pot if you're a teenager. But
True.
just be careful out there because we have legitimate studies that might suggest that you might become an idiot because your brain is still developing and you're putting stuff into your body that you probably shouldn't.
And I definitely did not smoke 4 times a week when I was a teenager.
'Cause
I
you're a
smoked
smart-
once, and
you're
then
a
a
smart
couple
man.
months go by, you smoke again, and by the time I was like 15 or 16, I was like, I'm moving on to alcohol.
This won't hurt me.
Alcohol and cigarettes.
But someone who I'm sure is very familiar with pot and alcohol is our good friend Kristen Stewart. Oh wait, not Kristen Stewart. I'm talking about Edward Furlong, who the man who played Jodie Foster's daughter in Panic Room.
No. Again, why do you keep on bringing up that he is Jodie Foster's daughter in Panic Room?
Because Kristen Stewart, who was in Panic Room, looks just like Edward Furlong. I'm telling you, man. Rewatch Panic Room and tell me that
I'll have to. Does she have really short hair?
Yeah, she has really short, like, shaved head.
And does she look like Terminator 2 Edward Furlong?
Exactly. She looks like she has that same stupid haircut that Edward Furlong had in Terminator 2.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Which is why I
Which
keep
is like
saying that.
a very common hairstyle for 12-year-old girls.
It is,
and,
yeah.
and boys. And boys in the early 90s.
But Adam, do you want to walk us through what 90s heartthrob Edward Furlong
Well, the great part is this picture of him where he just looks like, I don't know, he's 35 and
he's high as a motherfucking
he looks high.
guy.
He's got the neck beard kind of going on there. He's wearing a red shirt with an atomic bomb on it. He's moving on with his life.
So is everybody else in
TMZ
America.
caught up with him after he had lost his wallet, or had his wallet stolen down in the Skid Row district of L.A.,
which is where everyone goes. It's infamous for those of you who don't know in the L.A. area. Skid Row is an infamous neighborhood-ish where people go buy drugs generally.
And it's 1 block away from the Staples Center.
Exactly.
We can't forget about that.
Kobe goes there all the time.
And I'm sure Edward Furlong was just going down there to maybe check out the Staples Center,
make friends.
Yeah. There's some nice people down there.
He was going to do volunteer work,
probably just to clean up the streets with his hard-earned money. So he flagged down police after he was robbed and told them he had simply stopped to ask for directions when the person then turned on him and took his wallet.
Ask for directions.
On Tuesday, the 35-year-old actor, who was wearing the same exact T-shirt, despite it being 5 days later when TMZ caught up with him, he didn't seem eager to talk about the crime and what he was doing in such a seedy part of town early in the morning, but he did happily reveal that his wallet was returned to him.
So stay away from Skid Row, kids.
And it just goes on to say that he had a rough year. He was deemed a deadbeat dad by his ex-wife in October when she accused him of owing her more than $15,000 in back child support for their 6-year-old son. Furlong, who hasn't worked much over the years, had previously told a judge he was too broke to provide for the boy.
Oh, so he is a deadbeat dad.
He pretty much.
$15,000. You don't suddenly owe $15,000 in back child support.
Yeah. Well, it depends on if
you're Kobe or something.
Yeah, Kobe maybe, yeah. And also his income back in the 90s was a lot higher than it is now. So
I'm sure it is. And he's still thinking that he still makes that much money. Nobody's buying Terminator 2 on DVD anymore.
I don't think so. They moved on now from him.
Yeah, they play it on TBS like every
weekend.
He
was a terrible, terrible actor who played like the Messiah in that movie.
Did he do anything else?
He had quite a few other roles. He was in
Terminator 2.
That one.
He was also in Panic Room.
Crap.
I'm kidding.
I thought it said something. He was in a couple other movies, but nothing really since like 2001, 2002.
Okay.
So, and he's 35 and he looks awful.
Yeah. Well, how long? Let's start the betting now. How long until he dies?
I'm gonna go with 5 years.
5 years. Ooh, that's broad. I'm gonna one up you. I'm gonna go 3 years.
3 years. Okay. Yeah. Well, at least we got it recorded, so we can go back when we find this out.
$5. Shake on it.
Okay.
All right. Sweet.
$5 and a hand job.
And a hand job. Okay. I'll do that for free.
I'll pay you for the hand job.
Okay.
I'll give you $5. You give me the hand job.
I'll do that right now. I don't give a shit.
Okay. Cool.
You heard our episode last week. We're totally FWBs.
Very, very true.
All right, so summer is coming to an end, and some of you parents might have sent your kids over to summer camp.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. So, but what you don't know for us secular parents who happen to have secular children, there might be some options out there.
Has Zoe already discussed her secular issues with you?
No, we're not. We don't bring up religious issues.
Okay. I wasn't sure if she had to bring the, Dad, Mom, I'm an atheist. I hope you're okay with that.
Get out of my house, you godless sodomite!
And take your Barbies with you, you 4-year-old.
So, Adam, you brought this to my attention last week.
Yes.
Can you walk us through this?
So, located just north of Seattle, Camp Quest Northwest is a summer camp for atheists or children of atheists, self-described free thinkers, or people not otherwise traditionally religious. So now this strikes a bone with me,
Right.
who was forced to go to Christian summer camp.
Oh, snap.
For 5 straight years.
See, I went to a resort. Not a resort, but I guess it was a camp for like a week or
I
a
thought
weekend.
I was the one that came from rich family.
Well, this was just this was like a service that the church was providing, and I guess my parents
Oh.
didn't want me and my sister around for like that week, so they can go do some sinning or
Go do some sinning, yes.
I don't know. So I had to go. My church called it the Youth for Christ or something, but so we
Which
I
really
had
just
to do,
means hang out with us while your parents bang dirty
Pretty much,
in your
yeah.
bed while you're
while they make you another brother and sister. To
gross.
Fight in the Lord's army. But yeah, go ahead. So
That worked
yeah.
for me because my parents weren't able to do that.
Of course,
You
yeah.
know, they got together, but they weren't able to make babies
Okay.
or get married. But anyway,
So you and I have both been to Christian summer camp.
yeah. So we each have just a little bit of anger
Yes.
towards that side of our life. Because like, fuck, I don't want to go. And like,
Did
you're
you
going.
Did you say that you didn't want to go?
Oh, all the time. I never
Okay.
wanted to go.
Okay.
But by the
So they
time I
made you
was by the 3rd, 4th, and 5th year, it was just kind of like, why would I fight? Because
Oh shit!
I'm not going
How
to.
many
win.
times did you go?
I went consistently from the summer before 4th grade to the summer before 8th grade.
Oh wow!
So it was 5 years total.
Wow! You didn't have any leeway. You didn't have any say in the matter.
No.
Wow.
And they made it like all like happy at my church. Like,
Yeah.
yay, a whole group of the kids from the church
Yeah.
are going to this camp together and they'll know each other. And then you get there and they're like, fuck you, Adam. We hate you. We always have. We're going to hang out with our new friends.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Deep childhood psychological trauma.
Childhood repression. Only on the skinny with Mike and Adam. Yeah, I only went 1 year, and like after that, I didn't want to go anymore. So
And then you'd go back the following year and it would be the same group of kids
yeah, pretty much.
who would reject you.
There was also this kid who was like kind of a bully
Oh,
in
no.
my school, and he went to that same camp
he-
that I went to.
was he a
But
Christian
he was
bully?
like super nice to me when I was there.
Oh.
But at school, it'd go back to bullying, go back to like laughing at me and teasing me, and
He's like, you're an Asian. I don't like
I hate you, Benjamin. I forgot your last name. Your name's Benjamin, and I hate you.
Fuck you, Benjamin.
you hypocrite.
Benjamin X.
But anyway, get back to this article, like please.
Benjamin Furlong.
Benjamin Stewart.
So what the one of the founders has says, we would encourage them to read, to go to church. The best way to become an atheist is to study the Bible, and I definitely recommend that kids do that.
See, that line right there from that
Yes.
article struck a chord with me, because that's what I tell people all the time.
So he's saying it's good that they read and that they go to church, because
Yeah.
that's the best way to turn you into an atheist.
Yeah.
Is to do that, which
if you
works
are
for you and I.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, if you are an open-minded person who believes in equality and who believes in, skepticism and free thinking, there's nothing
Yes.
that will make you an atheist better than reading the Bible or the Quran or the Torah.
And just being like, wait, well, how is this? No, this doesn't work. And page 2 isn't any better than page 1.
Exactly.
So-
And everyone should read Genesis because it's hilarious. And Adam, remind our listeners again, what was it that turned you into an atheist that wasn't in the Bible?
Oh, because I just asked if they talked about dinosaurs in the Bible. And really,
And just like that.
just like that, I was like, well, then obviously that's not true then.
Exactly right.
And
If
I
only
just,
it was that
I just,
simple.
I just came from the La Brea tar pits and saw a whole bunch of dinosaur skeletons that were real as far as I know.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't
I mean, they
just
were right
the
there.
liberal media and Obama creating a dinosaur.
Well,
for
I
me
mean,
to
there
look
was,
at.
Obama is, destroying Christianity.
I knew
left
it.
and right.
He founded the La Brea tar pits.
Exactly,
didn't
it
he?
was him.
I figured it was him.
He's an extensive man.
I hope he talks about that at the DNC this week. I'm going to be really surprised if he doesn't. So,
So any other major points from this article?
just the funny part about that they do use a Christian camp that this is for, but they cover
It is
any
ironic.
sign saying Lord or God with masking tape and replace those words with fantasy-like words such as flying spaghetti monster.
Who is real, by the way, because you can't prove that he doesn't exist.
Exactly, which they use to emphasize the imaginary nature of God. So basically,
So there is. Let's be fair. There is something to say about if let's say you're an atheist parent and you want to send your kid who doesn't have any exposure to religion or philosophy at all, and you want to send them to this camp just to like kind of force them into atheism. That's just as wrong as indoctrinating your kids with whatever bullshit religion that you want to feed them.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah, I mean, like this is great for kids because also in this article they interview kids who are open about their skepticism and atheism, and they admit that they're in
Yes.
school and they get
And
bullied
they get
a lot.
bullied, which I thought was kind of weird because...
Well, it happens.
I
It
know,
happened
maybe
to-
I'm a weird...
It happened to me all
person.
the time. I mean,
Yeah.
as if I wasn't bullied enough for being white in an area that wasn't
know.
that you weren't allowed to be white.
I know. It's just like me growing up in Riverside. You're not allowed to be white
Exactly,
here.
right? So I mean, like, it is cool for kids of a certain age who can get together with other kids, other like-minded kids, and they can know that they have something in common, and they're not alone.
Yes.
Because secularism is on the rise, whether anybody want to admit it or not. But so it is cool that at least there's this option out there.
Yes.
But,
It's good to know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, hopefully it's teaching tolerance in the
I'm
same,
sure it is.
in the same respect.
That's part of secularism is tolerance and equality, and you're not doing it right if you're not teaching those philosophical elements of that. But like I said,
agree.
don't indoctrinate your kids with atheism if they have no
and
exposure.
like I said, it's now that I'm older, I realize that they needed me to be gone. They needed
Exactly.
a week with no Adam.
Oh yeah,
and now I
think all
understand
parents,
that.
I think all parents want
And
to
they
send their
look
kids
forward
to,
to that, and they're like just driving me to the camp, all smiling, like, "Yay, have fun!" And
It's
we
the greatest
hate you.
fucking
and,
week ever.
And it was, I don't know if I was just too young to really understand that it wasn't that they were rejecting me, but I sure did take it that way at the time. Like, they don't want me around. This is such bullshit.
I love my daughter to death, but there are some days where I'm just like, you know what? We need to send you to a camp. Which is so cool that she's in school now, because I mean, like, I'm not at home while she's at school, but it's cool that she has that exposure, and we know that she can live without us behind her the whole time.
That's good to know.
So it's good to know. So we're
Yes.
gonna use that.
And of course, your parents ask you, how was camp? And I wouldn't tell them that it was kind of sucky. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it was fun. I
Oh,
don't
it
want
was
to
so
leave.
good. I
I'm gonna
can't wait
miss
to
all my
go next year.
friends. But man, did I just run like hell when they would show up to pick me up. I was like, yes!
Holy fuck.
I'm going to go eat real food for the first time in a week.
Oh man, no more Jesus wafers. So speaking of secularism, one of my favorite spreaders of science and reason, Bill Nye, the Science Guy.
Week. He died this week.
Yeah, he died this week, but
He was resurrected like Jesus.
just like Jesus. So he was resurrected on the third day.
Nearly 3 minutes later.
But he's also in trouble with the religious community. Can you run this through that, Adam?
Where were we going?
I'm making you run through all these articles.
Yes. Well, luckily I have notes on them.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
yes, we got word that he died. Mike was really sad and posted a eulogy on Facebook.
Yeah, I did.
And then Jesus rising from the tomb, Bill Nye rose to deny creationism on all levels. And
Yeah, so
basically he's telling parents
Pretty much 2 weeks ago, he went on. He recorded a segment for the online forum Big Think.
Think,
Yeah,
yes.
which is a very good segment, and if you have a YouTube account, I highly recommend that you subscribe to it. You get these really bright minds, sharing ideas and have a lot of talking points. And Bill Nye did one, denouncing creationism and why we shouldn't.
spoke out against the denial of evolution,
Also
saying
that
such
too, yeah.
views harm young people, especially, and hamper scientific process.
Exactly, and that's exactly what the point that he made in the video. So, Adam, do you want to walk us through why
It
he's
says he
in so much
praises-
trouble?
He praises the United States for its contribution to technological innovation, but says that the denial of evolution is unique to the country.
That's right.
People still move to the United States, this is his quote, and that's largely because of the intellectual capital we have, the general understanding of science. When you have a portion of the population that doesn't believe in that, it holds everybody back, really.
Oh yeah.
Evolution is the fundamental idea in all of life science, in all of biology. It's very much analogous to trying to do geology without believing in tectonic plates.
You can't prove they exist.
You can't prove that earthquakes are caused by, anything but Jesus farts or something.
They're caused by gay marriage.
Sorry.
And God smashing his hand onto the earth.
God damn it, gay marriage.
Me, damn it!
Your whole world is just going to be a mystery instead of an exciting place. Mystery. Sorry, misread that. So basically saying, you will look at the world as just a mystery, where people are just like, well, if you can't explain it, it's God's will.
Yeah,
Much like,
which is
rape and incest.
which is how
but only
religion was
legitimate
invented.
rape.
Yeah,
Forget
legitimate
about
rape.
Legitimate rape.
You know what? You know what's weird about really quick side note. You know what's weird about the whole legitimate rape thing?
I would love to know because I've been using it all week long.
if legitimate rape is true, just like Congressman Atkin says it is, that means God is implanted within women a defense mechanism, thus meaning that God supports abortions.
Yes. Against rapist semen.
Yes.
God can tell the difference between rapist semen and non-rapist semen.
But it's ironic because Republicans say that abortion should be illegal even in cases of rape and incest. But according to Congressman Atkin, God has inputted a defense mechanism in women to...
It's natural birth control.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's only, 35,000 cases of rape pregnancy per year.
None of them are legitimate.
None of them are legitimate.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the female body... What's sad is that he said...
It's been proven.
He said that from doctors I've talked to. And that's what I really want to know is, like, what doctors is he talking to?
Yeah.
And this dude's also on the House Science Committee of, of the fucking Congress or whatever it is. So he's just... Yeah, he's a smart cookie.
Republicans.
So back to Bill Nye and creationism.
The important stuff here.
He just said... Nye said that one's world just becomes fantastically complicated when you don't believe in evolution. Here are these ancient dinosaur bones or fossils that Obama may have placed.
I'm pretty sure he did.
For his socialist takeover. Here is radioactivity, again, and that was from FDR.
Yeah.
Here are distant stars that are just like our star, but they're a different point in their life cycle.
And that's evolution in the form of stars right there.
I think so. The idea of deep time of this billions of years explains so much of the world around us. If you try to ignore that, your worldview just becomes crazy, just untenable, itself inconsistent. So he urges parents, give your kid a break and teach them about evolution.
How about we just not indoctrinate children, period?
Is that possible? Because people are so focused on my child is a reflection of me. Gotta remember that.
I know, but that's the problem with people like that. They see it as their duty to teach their kids.
And then when they end up having a gay kid,
things. Oh yeah,
and then the kid wants to kill himself or something because now he's gay and he
now
can't change it, and his parents are just well, we don't agree with that.
Yeah,
and
you should be moving now.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah,
it happens.
It happens, and it's bullshit. And I don't know.
But once again, we got to look on the bright side. Secularism is on the rise.
That's what one of these things went on to say, that the majority of Americans still identify themselves as Christian, but a survey from the 2008 U.S. Census reveals that more than 34 million Americans consider themselves agnostic, atheist, or to have no religion.
Correct, and we covered that a couple weeks ago.
Several episodes ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's on the rise, and I think we are single-handedly bringing down Christianity with our podcast. Just like we're...
with our millions of views. Because as you know, one view equals a million. So
and we're the voice of Gen Y.
Exactly, and Gen X, because depending on the article.
Depending on the article. I'm the speaker for Gen X.
Exactly. You speak for both sides.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, again...
So be open-minded.
And that was the good thing about growing up and going to high school here. It was they taught evolution in science classes, and I didn't think how dare you do this? This is bullshit. And
well, by then you weren't religious by then, so you didn't question it at all.
I wasn't really much of anything at that point. I didn't really make that decision until later on high school years. But the beginning of high school, they're teaching about evolution, and my teacher had to say I'm not saying that you have to believe this, but this is a biological discussion, or I don't know why he had to preface it.
Isn't that sad? They got to do
totally.
that?
And I'm just what the fuck is he talking about? And nobody said anything or
in a publicly funded school.
And I got a C in biology, and it didn't matter.
You didn't understand evolution anyway.
I tried reading the book, and I'm I don't get this, but whatever.
Oh well. To creationism.
I know.
This is much easier to understand. I can get an A+ on that. All right.
Moving on.
Moving on to more happy news. Well, this isn't really happy news. This is kind of depressing. Adam, have you noticed on the internet lately there just haven't been much porn lately? I
have noticed a drastic decrease in the porn available.
Would you like to know why?
And by that I mean it went from 800 billion and 57 down to 800 billion and 56.
Yeah, well, would you like to know why that dramatic decrease happened?
I'm dying
last week, a male porn star by the name of Mr. Marcus has taken the blame for a current syphilis outbreak that closed down the adult film industry in Los Angeles. Adam, are you
Sorry.
are you familiar with the work of Mr. Marcus?
Now, we were discussing this earlier, and I said I am not familiar with Mr. Marcus, and I said
He's an
it's because I
18-year
don't.
veteran of the industry.
I realized I don't watch a lot of porn with black guys in it, and Mike promptly called me a racist.
You are a racist
because I only prefer to see white penises.
He can. I told Adam he can only get off when there's a white dick in front of him. Well, he's an 18-year veteran, Mr. Marcus here. Well, apparently there's been a syphilis outbreak in the adult industry. Recently, the government tried to come in and mandate that condoms. Yeah,
I thought they did for LA.
They did, but how are they going to regulate that?
I don't know. Well, they have to make sure with all their legal stuff that goes on when they make sure everybody's 18 and they have to say where it was filmed. And if they say it's within LA County, then they're going to be like, "Where's the condom?"
Yeah.
But if you just go out to maybe Riverside County,
exactly.
Ooh, right? We can start.
Well, ever since that little government mandate fiasco, the LA adult industry has considered moving to Las Vegas or something where it's much more lenient over there. But
or Riverside County.
There's already they take it upon themselves already to test every star every month. So you're not allowed to work unless you come in with results every month. So
he somehow got away with it.
He got away with it.
Fraudulent, or showing fraudulent.
Or maybe he got the test and then contracted syphilis the next day or something.
Well, from what I read from this article, he knew that he had it. He just didn't tell anybody.
He didn't tell anybody. Yeah, so it must have been fraudulent stuff going on.
18-year veteran though. So maybe it was just somebody trying to tell him that it's time to give his penis a break.
Yeah, he didn't want to tell. He didn't want to tell anybody because he quoted saying, "I tried to cover it up because I said it was like the scarlet letter. It's the word syphilis. Whoa."
And now he probably infected all of our favorite people who will never work in the industry again. And
such as
Kristen Bell and.
Kristen Bell is not a porn star.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kristen Bell is a respected actress.
You know what we were talking about earlier.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so no, sorry, Lexi Bell.
Okay, Alexis Love also. Anybody else?
My girl Nikki Rhodes.
Okay.
I hope
you don't think she has syphilis? Right?
I don't think so, because as they get older, they just move into girl stuff.
Okay. Because they have dignity.
They have dignity. And there's others, but we will just bore our audience with that discussion.
as someone who loves porn, as much as Adam and I do, we know you audience members love.
I blame my Christian camp upbringing.
Exactly, we're so repressed. We just need Mr. Marcus's black cock all over a syphilis-infested black cock when it's penicillin and. So if you have noticed a slight decrease in the amount of movies up recently, that you might know the reason why. But we hope.
I'm sure Fred Willard noticed the change.
He did. Oh Lord. Well, so there you go. You porn stars, stay safe out there because we know you're listening.
Don't get syphilis. It's a hell of a disease.
Oh yeah.
From what I heard from other things, like when somebody says they have cancer and you want to one up them.
Yeah.
You can tell them that you have syphilis.
Oh dear.
It's on equal level.
Oh yeah, it's just as bad. I can tell. But so speaking of just as bad, it's another depressing story.
Oh, I forgot to even look up the lyrics to this.
Oh yeah, well, so Sweet Caroline.
We're just on a child molestation, sex crazed podcast today.
It's episode 10, damn it. We got to go there.
And we haven't mentioned the whole Penn State thing up until now.
Exactly.
But this caught my eye.
Yeah.
Because they've decided at the Penn State football games that by the way, you got to remember that I will be going back to my mistress starting this weekend, and you will no longer be my number one priority.
What?
Because there's a certain season that's starting tomorrow, and that would be college football season. And then next week, regular professional football season.
So we can't podcast?
Oh, we'll be podcasting.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
You're just going to have a lot of sports related on the plate.
I will, depending on how USC does. So Penn State,
Yeah, we all know the fiasco over there.
Too much
Sandusky crap.
Craziness going on there. So, again, they're not allowed to compete in bowl games for the next 4 years. They had a shitload of sanctions against their football program. All of their really good players split for schools that are not Penn State.
Yeah.
So like now their team is going to suck balls badly. And this was like a top 5 team for the last several years. They're
The only
really,
people
really
on
good
the team now are, students that nobody wants, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The ones that
have no
couldn't-
talent.
Exactly. So, Penn State's football program's been huge. Apparently they've been playing Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond.
Yes, the famous Neil Diamond song.
But as you know, when you're at a sporting event, Mike doesn't know this, but I know this, is that they play it and the
I've been
crowd
to sports
sings
games.
it. The crowd sings it, and it's like this big raucous jubilee
Yeah.
of, Sweet Caroline, and you're drunk. And they go, da, da, da. And the crowd gets into it, and it's
Yeah.
retarded, and I think it started in Boston.
But
I don't know.
apparently Penn State has dropped Sweet
They
Caroline
decided to
from their
stop
program.
it because of the lyric on the
Touching me.
pre-chorus, touching me,
Touching
touching
you.
you.
Which I thought was like from I believe in a thing called love. It's
Exactly.
something to the rhythm of the heart.
That's the darkness for anybody.
Yeah, the
who doesn't
darkness.
know. But yes, so the build up to the chorus for this song, reaching out, touching hands or something,
Yeah.
I don't know, and then touching me, touching you, and then the Sweet Caroline.
See, when I hear that lyric, I automatically think, child rape.
I do too now. But
I always
put
have.
myself.
I don't know about you.
I put myself in the position of sitting at a Penn State football game and hearing that song come on, and
Yeah.
having the whole crowd singing, "Touching me, touching you," 80,000 people all screaming that. When we know what happened in the showers.
Did they take down the Sandusky statue yet?
You mean the Paterno statue?
Oh, yes, right, the Paterno statue.
I think
sorry.
they did. I haven't really followed that.
Okay,
But,
while the statue is outside the stadium and everything,
Yeah.
still singing that song.
And
Classy.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was a good idea. And now I'm not going to be able to hear that song without thinking about Penn State from here on into eternity.
Neil Diamond is screwed.
Neil Diamond is on the Do Not playlist, by the way.
Oh, of course.
Several of his songs.
How can you not have his songs there?
So good job, Penn State. I think you did the right thing by
Yeah.
doing this. I don't know if anybody else would have even noticed, but I
Yeah.
would have noticed.
Well, I wouldn't have noticed until they actually did it. Do you
Yeah.
think people would have noticed if they hadn't, if they just left it alone?
I don't think so, because people are I don't know.
They're singing
I don't
it
think they
drunk
would notice.
anyway. So.
They're all drunk, and they're hopefully not thinking
It isn't
about
until
Sandusky.
somebody actually brings it up that you actually notice these kind of
Yeah.
things. So.
But if I was sitting in the crowd, no matter how drunk I was or was not, I'd be saying like, "This song is ridiculous to play. There's children that were hurt here, and why is my team 0-10?"
They got better things to worry about. I
I
think.
think so. Anyway, sorry, Penn State.
Any last words on this article?
Hopefully, USC will have a very good season.
Will they beat Penn State?
They're probably not going to play Penn State,
Okay.
but if they did, they would beat them because USC is going into the season ranked number 1 in the country,
Okay.
and they play Hawaii tomorrow.
Oh, sweet. Oh, it's starting
It's gonna be
tomorrow.
fun. Yeah,
Okay. Nice.
Tomorrow is day 1.
Nice.
Back to my mistress of the night.
You won't be getting much exercise then. You're just gonna be laying on the couch watching college football,
Probably.
thinking about child molestation.
I just hope they don't play that song during the USC
All
games.
right. All right. So I know that was a very long feed, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into our next segment because we got a lot to talk about in the next segment. It's
We
good.
do.
It's gonna be juicy, I think.
Juicy.
All right, we're gonna go on the plate.
Touching my plate, touching you.
Ew. All right, so on the plate this week, you can't turn on the fucking TV without hearing about these assholes and their Mormon Obama circle jerk known as the Republican National Convention.
And they trotted out both of the black Republicans.
Oh,
and
yeah,
put them
both
on TV.
of them. Look, everyone, we like minorities.
We do. So hopefully they're hoping that they'll take away their right to choose, but give them freedom to create their own small businesses. And this whole "we built it" thing.
Oh yeah, that whole.
Oh
Obama
my
thing,
God!
yeah.
It's like they're
They're
saying
milking
that
that bad.
everybody who is a Republican has started their own small business, and you know that is not the case.
No.
So I just watching all these poor middle class people who
Who've all started their own businesses, I'm sure.
I'm sure they think that they will. That's the problem. Is they're saying like if I can, then I will someday.
Little kid with the strawberry lemonade stand. You didn't build that. Oh well.
He's never seen the inside of a lemonade stand, as Reince Priebus said drunkenly. And now, they can no longer say that Obama doesn't know what it's like to run something because he's been the president for 4 years.
Well, he hasn't done a very good job of that, though.
He may have not done a good job, but he's at least knows what it's like to try to run.
But
something
at least he shows up
fail
to work.
miserably.
Yeah. He shows up to work,
and he's
least,
like,
right?
"This is a really hard job."
Well, I give up. So the Republican National Convention was the majority of this week. But they had to cancel a couple days because of that hurricane that was caused by gay marriage. Because Stephen Colbert told us that.
Of course.
Yeah. So
because as we learned from Colbert,
yeah.
was that hot man action on yachts
it creates precipitation. It goes up,
rises into the clouds, and it makes the angels cry,
and that creates the counter winds.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Anybody who saw that on my Facebook feed this week, you're welcome.
So, what can you take away from the convention as a whole? Have you seen much coverage?
I've seen the clips here and there.
Okay.
I know Paul Ryan said a lot of non-factual statements. I haven't seen the Mitt Romney acceptance thing yet.
Why bother?
I don't really want to, and I was upset because it cut into my recording of The Big Bang Theory last
Romney!
night. 20 minutes of The Big Bang Theory was gone on my recording, and I wasn't able. I only
How
had
are
10
you going to
minutes.
get your Kaylee Cuoco fix?
I'll have to wait until the next episode on Monday.
Oh man, poor Adam.
Damn. Or I'll just watch the reruns.
Yeah, it was. I saw some of. I didn't want to watch the whole thing because it's depressing and infuriating. But basically the entire theme, besides the "we built it" crap, was just this bullshit pandering to.
You know what they didn't build? That convention center that they were meeting in.
Yeah,
that was built by union workers.
We're probably
so good luck with that.
Yeah, but what I took away from it was, besides the circle jerk of oh fuck, we love Romney because he's been like shoved down our throats all these months. It's just this bullshit pandering to every time you see the news clip. It's like, how can Romney gain support of women voters? How can women voters look up to Romney and look at him as a leader? How can
so they trotted out his wife?
Yeah, they drugged the wife, put her on stage, and made her read from a teleprompter in that zombie like tone of voice of hers
to actually make him seem like a human being.
Because he really is. He's a cyborg.
He's shy and he laughs and he's handsome.
He wears clothes. He eats human food.
Human food. Although
he enjoys bisque and leg of lamb.
Leg o' lamb. And they talked about their difficult first couple of years of marriage where they lived in a basement, very poorly, and ate off of an ironing board.
The basement of the Taj Mahal with 47 rooms, right?
And living off of their stockbroker investments.
Listen, Romneys, you guys are rich and you know it. Stop pretending to be people you're not. It's just embarrassing. You're just embarrassing yourselves.
They did the same thing happened with McCain.
Right,
where he tried to pretend like he wasn't rich.
Yeah.
And then they were like, but you own 6 houses. And this is your third wife, and she's more plastic than the first 2.
Oh, no, that was the other John McCain.
And then, of course, you see all the, all the old clips about how Mitt Romney has changed his position on things like abortion and gun control. And
well, that's the thing about Mitt Romney. He doesn't have a position on either of those things because that way he can pander depending on who he's talking about.
Well, yeah, you always swing back and forth.
Such is Romney.
So I don't know what a Gary Johnson or Ron Paul nomination would have looked like in comparison. If
Ron Paul was elected as a Republican nominee, it would have been a strange convention. I think I would have been happy, but as part of the establishment Republicans, they wouldn't have been happy. They probably would have walked out too. And then
It's this whole weird thing about how the Republicans have to swing to that super far right side.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like lose their moral identity. So if like a Ron Paul came in there and like,
wait a minute, Ron Paul is for civil rights? What the fuck?
No,
we don't
brown
want this
people
guy.
can't use my drinking fountain.
We gotta kill motherfuckers overseas because they're overseas and they're motherfuckers.
And they might hurt us at some point.
Yeah, Bush told us that they'd hurt us, so we gotta kill these motherfuckers.
The weapons of mass destruction, the uranium.
Yeah,
in Iran.
Don't you know that Iraq is holding weapons of mass destruction?
Still?
Bush told us.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So anyway, speaking of Congressman Ron Paul,
yes.
I got a lot to say about that.
Are you
gonna take a nap while
I think I
talk
will.
about this? All right.
But go ahead.
So
Go for it. Try to make it funny though, if you can.
Oh yeah, I'll try my best.
We have to pander to that audience.
I'll say motherfucker a lot. So anyway, I'm sure most of you are aware that because I've been talking about it too. Throughout the whole nomination process, the Republican Party has made it very clear that they are not fans of Congressman Ron Paul, despite the big following that he's been gaining this year. And well, they've been trying to change the rules of the nomination process to make it to where the Ron Paul delegates will not be seated and will not be represented at the RNC.
Right.
Despite him even conceding that he won't have enough delegates to get the nomination. It's been happening in Maine and in Iowa that the Republican Party has been changing the rules, and they've been sending these affidavits to the delegates over there telling them that you're not allowed to come to the convention unless you change your vote for Romney, which is complete bullshit. Right? So
Democracy at work.
Oh yeah, this is Republican democracy at its finest. It's just an infuriating process. I mean, it would have been fine if the process was completely clean and Ron Paul didn't win the nomination. I would have been completely fine with that because he got his message across. He did what he wanted to do. He's going to retire anyway. I mean,
well, he's 97, I think, right?
197.
They're going to have to wheel him out onto the stage.
They have
balloons.
They have to freeze him again and put him back into the the coffin
with Ronald Reagan,
with the ghost of Reagan. Yeah,
the hologram of Reagan.
He drinks green tea with that guy.
Yes,
but it's just the fact that they're so blatantly misrepresenting the rules and they're changing the rules as they go along. It's disgusting, and like I can't.
Well, it's for the betterment of the party to not look it's super factioned.
It's already super factioned.
Well, but they don't want everybody to know that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well,
so this is why I've constantly told you that Ron Paul needs to find a new political party.
I think if
he's not a Republican.
Oh, he's not a Republican anyway.
So he needs to stop trying to be one.
Technically, he is a Republican if you do by the Republican definition. It's just that ever since the Reagan era, like the evangelicals have taken over the party, and now it's become this warped monstrosity of what it used to be.
Stupid.
They're pretty much the exact
name
opposite of what the definition of Republican should be. The definition of Republican is now libertarian, which is weird. Which is why the Libertarian Party had to become an official party back in the 80s.
And hopefully someday they'll get a little bit more ground. And I was saying this back in 2008 when there was all these factions after Obama won.
Right.
And it was like, well, yeah, the Republican Party is falling apart, and they're going to really, really struggle for a long time to come. And I was like, yeah, it's about that time. Because remember back in like the 1800s, there were so many political parties, and everybody split off and became...
The Whigs. Don't forget the Whigs.
Like you're reading your history textbook, and you're like, wait, didn't they just start this political party, and then it was dead 10 years later,
the Democrat
and the new one, and then they split from that one, and then
the
they
new
became that
independent
one.
party.
Why can't we keep doing that kind of stuff? I think that'd be fun.
I think looking back on the Ron Paul run in the Republican Party, I think it's kind of been clear that he didn't really run to win, in a way.
No,
especially
he ran to make a point.
Yeah, and especially considering that there was plenty of proof early on that the Republicans were, misrepresenting his delegates and changing the rules and kicking his supporters out. There was plenty of video and audio proof of this happening, but he never
He's not fighting it.
He wasn't fighting at all, but
because he's a tired old man who needs to take a nap, once every 4 hours.
But I think looking back on the Ron Paul run, I think am proud of what he's accomplished because he has opened the eyes of a lot of people, myself included too. I mean, I've never been a Democrat, Republican anyway, and like I was looking at his message back in 2008, but I wasn't paying too much attention. And then the more and more I read about Ron Paul and libertarianism, the more I understood it, the more I got it, the more I supported it, and in the fact that the same thing has been happening to many other people throughout this country, just because of his message and his consistency and how he never falters and he just always stands his ground. And I think it's very admirable, and he accomplished what he set out to do, and I applaud that.
Well, and it was the same thing with Nader back in 2000 as well. I know. I don't know if he ran in '96 or not.
No.
I mean, he did definitely cost Gore the election, but it was still the same kind of thing where
no, it was Florida who lost in the election,
and it was the Supreme Court who just said we need to stop this whole counting ballots thing.
Oh yeah,
that's
nonsense.
Yeah, why would we count all the ballots and make sure what the? Yeah, never mind. But it was the same kind of thing where people were really, really happy for him for actually going against the two-party system.
Yeah. And,
he was a Green Party at the time.
Right.
And I liked him even though I didn't vote for him back at that time because I just thought it was a little bit too left for me.
Okay,
and I also, it was my first election voting. And I was like, I don't want to vote for the weird candidate. And I had a lot of people around me who were telling me that it was important not to vote that way because something like this whole Supreme Court thing could happen because I didn't really know how close that election was going to be.
Right. Well, I mean, you don't have foresight.
I just had a few people around me who were just being like, you should probably vote for the person that might actually win.
And see,
I was just I'm 20 years old.
I have
or
a
19.
problem with that too. And I mentioned that during my last political rant. Like, you shouldn't vote for the quote unquote lesser of two evils.
Right. But
you should vote with your principles, and if no candidate is close to your principles, then you shouldn't vote at all. You shouldn't be part of the problem. And if everybody voted with the principles, then we wouldn't have this stupid problem where we got two clones going up there against each other, should be shoved down our throats, and the candidates who actually have good points and actually do want civil liberties and anti-war, that they're being shunned out and cast aside, and we wouldn't have this problem if everybody voted with their principles and stopped playing this fucking power struggle game.
Well, and unfortunately, it kind of blacklisted Nader after that, and he ran in 2004, but he got
nobody heard of him.
Yeah, he still got like 6% of the vote in 2000, which qualified him to again be on the ballot or get whatever funding. For the 2004 election.
But he's never had that support like he did in the 90s.
And there were people in my classes,
and they had to change the debate process because of Nader. Because of Nader, now the rule is if you get 15% of the polling results, then you're allowed to debate with the thing, which is what Gary Johnson is trying to do right now.
Yeah,
Gary Johnson from the Libertarian Party.
That sure be nice.
Yeah.
So Nader never got to debate or anything like that. He ran as an independent in 2004,
right,
and lost. He only got like 2% of the vote at that time, and then just kind of gave up after that.
Yeah. Another disgusting thing that I saw during some coverage that I saw, because every time I go to the break room, it's on the news channel there because HLN is on, and so they're playing this, they're circle jerking this like all over and over again, so you can't escape it when you go to the break room. But my favorite douchebag Newt Gingrich was on there,
Newt
motherfucking Gingrich. So he goes on, he's actually talking about Ron Paul. He complimented him and complimented how he never backed down. He was very consistent, and he stood by his values no matter what. He never talked to lobbyists, yada yada. But he also went on, Newt motherfucking Gingrich, and he claimed that because of Rand Paul's ass-kissing endorsement of Mitt motherfucking Romney, he claims that 90% of the libertarian wing of the Republican Party are going to support Mormon Obama. No. Obviously, he knows nothing about libertarian principles. And
well, again, they're trying to make it look like they're a united party with no problems.
Libertarians are not loyal to the Republican Party. It's ridiculous what he said, and I just couldn't help but smack my face when I heard that.
Oh, politicians. The Republicans are pretty easy to make fun of.
They really are.
I'm looking forward to seeing what jokes we can make up for the Democrats.
Oh yeah,
next week.
Next week is the Democratic National Convention, and we're gonna have
the
plenty
Obama
of
circle jerk, as you call it.
So stay tuned, folks. We're gonna do this all over again next week.
Yeah, and after I mean, we didn't see the Romney speech. We didn't see the Clint Eastwood speech.
I didn't either.
Unfortunately, we'll know more about that maybe next week.
Yeah.
But it's everywhere right now.
Again,
and him talking to an empty chair that's like pretending to be Obama there. And he's just like yelling at the chair, "No, chair, I'm not going to shut up. Don't tell me what to do, Mr. Obama."
Old man yells at chair.
83 years old. If they were looking for somebody
He's older than Congressman Paul.
Oh, my God. I mean...
Congressman Paul's at least in shape. At least he does bike marathons and shit.
and
in the Texas heat.
Clint Eastwood, and the fact that they were showing pictures of Clint Eastwood from Dirty Harry behind him during his speech,
that doesn't bode well for the Republican
okay,
image.
there's a clip from a movie that was 40 fucking years ago. Yeah, we're pandering. We're gonna get the youth vote with this.
Oh yeah, definitely,
totally.
And if Republicans aren't pandering enough, like,
I know.
how is Romney gonna get the women vote? And as if I'm not trying to pick exclusively on Republicans, but like I pick on them a lot because they're a fucking horrible party. But Democrats do the same fucking thing. Like, how is Obama gonna cater to the Latino vote? How is he gonna get the youth vote this year? Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. How about you run on your policies, you dipshits? Have you thought about that?
My favorite was the country song, the country artist. I don't know who it was who sang, but he wrote a song called.
Oh boy.
I built it without the help of Uncle Sam.
Oh, snap.
So it tied in with their We Build It Day on Tuesday.
They're milking that a lot. Yes, I know
God.
Obama said something fucking stupid, but I mean, he says stupid shit all the time.
It was taken totally out of context.
Yeah, exactly.
He was discussing the fact that I can't remember now, but he was talking about how the business owners didn't build like the roads and the infrastructure. He was saying you didn't build.
It was
that.
a big government thing,
whoever
it was
built
all big,
that.
Big government.
It may have been a Republican president. It may have been a Democrat. It may have been, I don't know, socialist leaders from
He was just circle
Wisconsin.
jerking the government pretty much. Oh, big government.
I don't even know if that was what it was, but.
Sounded like what it was to me.
Well, I mean, who else is paying for our roads? It's not the Libertarian Party.
I know it's not that. People like to give libertarians a hard time about the roads. What about the roads?
Libertarians never filled my pothole.
How about we fix what's wrong with America now, and then we could fight about the roads.
Okay, fine.
If that is the worst thing
All I
going
know
on in
is
this
the
country.
pothole getting me onto the freeway in San Bernardino did get filled.
I know,
and
I'm right there with you. I don't believe in like anarchy and like the abolishment of government, whatever. I just believe in limited government, and I believe in like limited regulations. There is a place in this country for government and filling potholes.
And not like Grover Norquist said, was that
Exactly.
we need government, but I want to make sure it's weak enough to where I can hold it underwater and strangle it.
Exactly.
Anyway, there's always there needs to be a government.
Oh yeah.
But,
well, I mean, not for you volunteerists out there, but not that I'm saying a country, no matter how big or how small, can somehow function without a government. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
I am an antichrist. Oh, sorry. Singing Sex
What?
Pistols.
Yeah, okay.
And
Sex
I
Pistols.
am an anarchist. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good song to put at the end of the show.
Ooh.
Nice.
Hopefully we'll get a copyright notice again.
Exactly. Sweet. But what was I saying? Oh yeah.
You like some government, but not a lot of government.
I like limited government. I'm okay with like public school systems. That's fine, as long as it's nice, fair, and balanced. Separation of church and state, yada yada. And I'm fine with all that stuff. People seem. And Adam gives me a hard time, like, the roads! the roads! You don't think about the roads!
I'm not going to go out and sweep my street, okay?
I know.
The city needs to do that.
It's perfectly fine. And if there was more state rights, we could all. It would be much easier for us to, come together and vote on what we wanted for our local communities.
Right.
Hey, do we want a street sweeping? Do we want to spend tax money on street sweeping? Why don't we vote on it? It's stuff like that. So
not force me to park in my driveway every first and third Friday of the month.
Exactly, right. And get a ticket which pulls more into tax money. So, do you have any last thoughts about?
I have a lot of thoughts. But
well, let's go. It's episode 10.
They're everywhere. They're just swimming in my head.
All right.
So
what do you take on the whole Ron Paul situation? The whole cheating process and
that whole thing sounds pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not surprising though.
Yeah, I mean, like in recent history, I think Republicans have a good track record of not playing fair in elections.
True.
There was that whole...
They're so fraction that they are never going to... They're not going to have like a super strong candidate. I thought the Democrats were in the same boat back in 2004.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, they're never going to find anybody that would ever
I'm
win.
Senator Kerry!
Exactly. And John Edwards
man.
banging his campaign aides. And I mean,
Didn't John Edwards run for president in 2008? Like he was...
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
And
Can
all
you
that.
imagine
he
if
ran
he
in
won?
04 as well.
Can you imagine if he won and then the whole thing
Oh my God.
started coming up? Holy shit,
That would have
dude.
been crazy. But they would have found a way to cover it up. Not
I
cover
did
it
not
up.
have sexual
but
relations.
Yeah, it would have been a whole Clinton debacle over
Holy
again.
shit, dude.
Yeah, that would have been so wild. But now he's just tabloid fodder.
Yeah, that's all he is now.
And his wife died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
So that was
died.
too bad. But I don't know. It's just a big bunch of nothing. And it's like they always what I was hearing was about I want to hear solutions. And the more I think about it, the more I'm just like there's no solution to this.
Well, the Republican Party has no solution to
Nobody,
anything.
no Democrat, no Republican, no. I don't even think the Libertarians have a solution to solve these problems. That
what problems? You
the
gotta be
budget,
specific, man.
the more the fiscal side of things, I guess.
The libertarian position, which is both Ron Paul and Gary Johnson,
And I would
is reducing the size of government and reducing military spending and not.
And I
not
would
increasing
love to
taxes.
think that they could do that, but I even think that if they were in power, none of that would happen either.
How would that not happen? How do you not send the troops home?
I think that
we
would.
just walked into the Middle East. We can just walk out.
They could, and if it was that easy, then I think that it would have already been done.
Well, they don't want it to be done because the military-industrial complex is a business.
I'm just saying, if it was that easy, it would be done.
They don't want it to be done. That's
And
the
if
problem
it was
about it.
as easy as to just remove troops to balance the budget and to cut all these programs, it would have been done.
But they
a
don't
long
want
time
it
ago.
to be done, Adam. That's the problem.
That's why I'm saying
they love the nation building. They love the big military spending. They think somehow that builds national defense. They think that somehow builds a strong nation. Somehow.
I'm just saying, even if you pull all of that stuff out, there would still
Military
be a shitload.
spending.
We had terrible budget shit before wars, before 9/11.
It wasn't as bad as this, but
I know
but military
it was
spending,
actually coming down under Clinton. From,
it
from
was,
what I
yeah,
heard.
exactly. But military spending is a vast majority of what this country spends its tax money on. If that was reduced drastically, we could spend it on these bullshit entitlements, and we could spend.
They
it
would
on
find other ways to waste money that nobody
if
that
the Democrats
tons of
and
people
Republicans
don't
were
agree
in
with.
charge. That's
I'm just saying, if it was that easy, everybody would vote Libertarian, and the
But
Libertarians
that's the
would come
problem.
in
The
and fix the
libertarian
problem.
message is not strong enough yet.
Well, then they need to work on their fucking message. God damn it!
That's what Ron Paul did.
He
And
failed.
He failed. I think he did a good enough job. Yes, he did not get the Republican nomination, but the message of liberty and the libertarian philosophy is grown wider, and you got to admit that.
It's grown. That is true.
Yeah,
But
it's
I'm just
grown-
saying
it's grown
grown, but I don't think it's going to get any bigger than this.
You don't think it's going to be any bigger?
If it does, I'd be very surprised. But
Yeah.
by 2016, I think it's going to be even less than it is now.
For this country's sake, I think the message of liberty should be able to spread. And since we have millions of listeners, we're guarantee you by the time this episode airs
Do it.
on Labor Day, it's gonna it's gonna overtake.
I know.
Oh man, we're so we're so egotistical.
We can control the world
We will
through our
control the
podcast.
world.
God
We
damn
will
it.
control the world.
So are we on hour 15 of this podcast
Hour
now?
15's coming up. Yep.
Oh, man. We want to hear your opinion. And
Yeah,
please.
feel free
We'll
and-
buy another microphone if you want to come in and sit in with
And
us.
we would love to
debate.
I know we haven't mentioned this in like a few episodes, but we'd love to sit down with folks if you guys would love to come in and sit down on us in any of our episodes.
We'll make some coffee and,
Yeah. We'll make
enjoy
some-
the late summer air.
Adam will give you chips.
I will. Maybe some pizza if you're lucky.
Yeah, you can sit on our couch.
And some Diet Pepsi.
We might molest you.
I hope that we
part
do.
of the package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 chance.
So I just wanted to say really quick, I actually prepared a statement. It's about the Republican Party, and and like I said, I'm pretty disgusted by what's been going on with these shenanigans, and I do believe this is the beginning of the end of the Republican Party as we know it. If there isn't this
Lack
big
of God willing.
yeah, exactly, flying spaghetti monster willing, yeah.
Yes.
But any of you out there who are Ron Paul supporters or Gary Johnson supporters or just not supporters of the Democrat or Republican Party, if you want the Republican Party to pay for this bullshit at the RNC and the complete disenfranchisement of the libertarian wing, then I please implore you to not vote for either of those assholes. So one last thing on Ron Paul, because he is going to be retiring. This is his last hurrah. And Adam doesn't think the libertarian movement is going to get any bigger. I'm hoping it is, because it's got a lot of traction this
I would
year.
love to hope. I'm
Yeah.
all for change at this point.
Yeah. We got change in 2008. No.
Wait, no.
George W. Bush became black.
He wanted to change, but again...
But it's so hard.
It
Adam.
is.
It's so hard.
And that's... Yeah, exactly.
So really quick, I just kind of wrote an open letter to Congressman, because he is listening. Congressman Paul, you are listening, aren't you?
He just Googles his name every day, like, what podcast is mentioning me now?
Oh, really quick, Ron Paul.
Where's my Metamucil?
Really quick, Ron Paul, do you want us to use the C word more often? Because we kind of blacklisted
We do.
that.
Just call me Ron C. Paul.
So anyway, Ron Paul, I like you, man. I really, really like you. I think you're a humble man. You're an honest man. You're unrelenting. You're unforgiving, uncompromising, and your voting record speaks volume. I don't think any mainstream politician can attest to that, really. The race is over, and the Republicans have denied him his supporters and their votes and their voice. Sorry. We knew that they would cheat, and they did. I think deep down we all knew this was going to happen. After all, this is the Republican Party we're talking about. Ron Paul, he's retiring now, and his supporters are going to be moving on from him. But that doesn't mean that they're going to give up necessarily. I know I'm not. There's so much progress made this year by spreading the message of liberty throughout the mainstream audiences, and the positions that they grabbed. The people who participated in the primaries and caucuses. They grabbed local seats in their states and in their counties now. So it's good that liberty-minded people are actually grabbing political seats and hopefully further influencing, further spreading messages. Yeah,
people will swing back towards the middle.
Oh, my friend Adam, the pessimist. Yeah,
might.
So this is a great stepping stone in bigger gains, and hopefully people are waking up. And, if there are other Paul supporters out there, any libertarians, any independents, people who are unhappy with either of the parties, I just want to say that need to keep it up, and don't give up the fight for freedom. We need force ourselves into these conversations, and we need to take back American politics from the warmongers and the fundamentalists and the social conservatives, the big evangelicals especially, the big government sheep, the liars, the cheats, the phonies that have usurped these two big parties, and they won't let go.
But they're just so convincing, though.
They are.
That's the problem.
I love big government.
They're good actors.
I need roads.
Somebody give me leadership, because I can't make decisions for myself.
This election cycle has proven that the Republican Party is scared of the libertarian message, and they're afraid of what it will do to their party. So we just need to keep spreading the message and show others why liberty is the way to go. Ron Paul is done. He's retiring. It's sad, but it's I think it's okay. I think his revolution is only the beginning. I think right now it's bloomed into something that hopefully will continue on, and it's shift your support where it will matter. So don't buy into this lesser of two evils bullshit. Rob Omni has made it quite sure that I'm never going to vote for that asshole or anybody of his kind. Which is amazing considering how much I dislike Obama. I'm going to vote libertarian this year. I'm going to vote Gary Johnson because he closely follows the principles that I have, and so I encourage everybody else to vote with your principles as well, and don't buy into this lesser of two evils bullshit like I keep mentioning.
Not at all.
And I hope others follow this example. Be informed. Don't play their games, and don't be silent when the mainstream audiences try to mock you for your beliefs. And that's all I really got to say.
Well said.
Yeah, thank you.
Well said.
Thank you.
All right. I can hear the applause raising throughout the nation.
Mike!
4 more years! 4 more years!
Mike, show us your dick!
USA! USA!
So, Republican... So, it's official now. Mormon Obama.
Mormon Obama.
Mormon Obama is the Republican prime.
He's gonna lose
Oh
badly.
yeah, he is going down in flames. Nobody's gonna vote for that asshole. I'm just saying. So, any last thoughts, Adam, before we move on?
No,
Can't wait for next week.
Next week it'll just start
It'll
all
be
over
fun.
again.
Yeah.
And then we'll go through those doldrums of September. And
Next week won't be so.
October,
Next
and
week won't be so much of Ron Paul. Me jerking off to Ron Paul though. So
I'll get you a poster of him with Tiger Beat around it.
there you go. I like it. Yeah, yeah. So we should go on to the end of the segment. We're gonna go finally to our sound off after 20 hours later. That segment was so long, I actually drank all of my water. But we're going to go
Do you have
ahead
any
and...
more prepared statements?
Well, I'm sorry that segment took so long. I'm sorry.
No, it's important.
It's an important one, yeah. I know politics is not your forte, but this isn't really talking politics, more just talking shit about the Republican Party. So anyway, we're going into our sound off. I think I should probably start it off.
My sound off is so trivial that should I just like say it and get it out of the way?
Actually, no, because we should end this seminal episode
Okay.
on a high note, and I think that's the highest note we can possibly get it. But
as long as it's seminal.
yeah, seminal. But anyway, as you guys know, I'm a big video game fan. Gotta mention it all the time.
Are
every
you
time yeah. Would you like to hear?
I had no idea.
No, nobody wants to hear that. But a couple of big announcements actually that just happened like a day before I'm reading this. A couple announcements from Konami Studios. The first is the announcement of the next chapter in the Metal Gear Solid franchise.
Ooh.
Have you ever heard of that, Adam?
I've heard of Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, sweet!
I didn't know it had a franchise.
It is a franchise. They have 4 full titles and like plenty of spin-offs. They started in the NES days, but yeah, that's a long story. This episode will be like 4 hours longer if I keep talking.
The backstory.
But
Ron Paul founded the first one.
Yeah, so the next chapter in the Metal Gear Solid franchise has been announced, and little is known for the title right now, but it's going to be using a new game engine called the Fox Engine. If you guys follow Konami Studios, you'll know that they've been working on this engine. So rumors been going on that they've been working on a new Metal Gear franchise, but now it's official though. So, and apparently they're going to be reinventing the Metal Gear formula, which is strange. And they didn't really release any footage. They just kind of released a little snippet of the main character, which I'm going to assume is Big Boss and not Solid Snake, because Solid Snake died in number 4. And so I'm assuming this is the prequel. So
looks like RoboCop.
It kind of looks like RoboCop. He's got nice glasses on. But the second announcement is something that's been in the works for more than a decade now. It's been announced that Avi Arad, I don't know if I said that right, he was the producer for the X-Men movie, the Iron Man movie, and the Amazing Spider-Man movie. He's going to go ahead and be producing the Metal Gear Solid movie with Columbia Pictures. Ooh. That's actually been in the works since Metal Gear Solid 1 came out.
Wow.
Yeah, so this has been in gestation in forever, and I'm not really sure how I feel about the movie, because most video game movies suck.
That's true. Street Fighter.
Yeah, Street Fighter was horrible. Super Mario Brothers also.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a travesty.
Yeah. Didn't they do a
They
Duck Hunt movie or something?
They should.
Yes.
But also they did Double Dragon. The only one I kind of liked was
yeah.
like Silent Hill. But I talked about that when I had a sound off about the Silent Hill theme park coming out. But
Yes.
I don't really know how they're gonna do that, because what makes the Metal Gear Solid games so great is that they have these 20 plus hours to fully flesh out the story and fully flesh out these characters, and you really get to know and feel for these characters, and you get to know their backstory, and you have time to take in all these twists and turns that the story throws at you. So I don't know how they're going to condense that into like a 90-minute, 2-hour movie.
Well,
so
they expect you to know a little bit more of the backstory, maybe.
Well, I mean, like, a movie should be able to hold up on its own by people like you who've never played Metal Gear Solid. You should be able to go see Metal Gear Solid, the movie, and not having no prior knowledge of the video games, and still enjoy it, and still and still be immersed into the universe as much as I am. At least a successful movie should be able to do that. Yeah.
But when it comes to me, that would probably never happen.
Of course, because anything with a video game you won't touch at all. So I'm skeptical on the movie. I'm super excited about the game. We're gonna get more we're gonna get more news on the game pretty soon, according to this article I'm reading. So I'm looking forward to that. Apparently, it's gonna come out still on the PlayStation 3, but the Fox engine, they said, is flexible enough to be able to transition to the next generation of consoles, the PlayStation 4s, the Xbox 720s, depending on what they're called. So, Adam, will you end the show on a fantastical beautiful
note that will affect us all deeply?
I am looking forward.
It was announced this week that finally, after 5 stupid seasons of fist bumping, greasy, Italian, drunken, sweaty, syphilis infested vaginas,
baloney smelling vaginas.
Yes, the Jersey Shore is coming to an end.
Yay!
Woohoo! Can you believe it's only debuted in 2009?
Really?
They've only been part of our lives for the last 3 years.
It seems like it's been an eternity.
That's what the article says. Apparently, they were starting to ask for way too much money, like getting $150,000 per episode.
Oh, they deserve it.
Yeah, and now they've turned them from just being likable newcomers into bored millionaires.
Jesus.
So
did anybody like them in the first place?
I know I didn't.
Well,
but
idiots do.
I think they had millions and millions of followers who really did like them. But
Morons.
it was like one of those things where you were sad to know that our generation still has this level of douchebaggery.
Oh, Jesus.
Because I was just like, oh my God, I thought only like older douchebags acted like this. And that our generation was being smarter and saying, I'm not going to be a retard and only focus on my abs. And
the saddest part about
like
the Jersey Shore phenomena was that, like, is the fact that young people, look up to these assholes.
idolize them
and
like
emulate them.
Abs and like the hairstyles, like all the high school kids have their really tall hairstyle and the girls have the little snooky bump. And granted, I mean, on some of those girls it looks really cute, but I'm just saying.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to punch you in the face.
I'm just saying, if it's a cute girl who has hair like that,
not one of these bitches.
Girls. No,
okay.
They're all like drug infested.
Yeah,
hoe bags. But when there's some teenage girls out. Oh wait, I mean, adult women who look attractive with that kind of hair.
Women in general, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Some girls can do the little bouffant beehive thing.
I'm not a child molester. Shut up, Mike. Stop judging me.
I'm not saying anything.
I told you 30 times now.
That was a funny slip of the tongue. Is it weird that every time I see Snooki, like, I smell bologna?
Yeah, and hairspray and
no, it's just bologna. Like, I get that like that nasty taste in my lips, like when you eat a hot dog and like it's mushed up in your teeth and you can kind of taste the aftertaste. Like every time I see Snooki, I taste hot dogs and bologna. It's weird.
I don't know where that's coming from.
She's just so disgusting to me that I don't know.
Oh, it's so sad.
What's next for the cast of Jersey Shore?
Well, the one dude is a DJ, and they're gonna get older, and they're gonna be like on those "Where Are They Now" things.
People are still gonna give them money, though.
Man, then there's gonna be reality shows and facelifts and Bruce Jenner impressions and Kardashian marryings.
And Snooki had a baby, so
I feel terrible for that poor child.
That little boy's gonna have a reality show soon.
He's already got. He had sunglasses on in the womb.
It's gonna be it's gonna be picked up by TLC. It's gonna come after Honey Boo Boo.
Probably. I feel terrible for
I
that
hate this
poor
country.
Child. I know. We need to stop giving these people a platform.
God.
If they want their own platform, then they need their own podcast.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Why is it that people like these can be famous, but well-informed adolescent men like us cannot seek an audience? You see what I did there?
I did.
What I did there?
I like that you tied in our slogan.
Well, Adam, after 10 episodes, I have to say I'm having the best of time.
It's been the most fun and the thing I look forward to all week long.
It really is. Like I'm coming up to the end of the week, I'm like, oh yes, I get to hang out with Adam, and it's not so much like talking about crappy stories and talking, philosophy and politics and religion and all this fun stuff, and then your top 9 and all this fun. It's not just that. It's just the fact that I get to hang out with you, man.
And when you tie in the amount of time we spend with each other on these podcast days, I mean, we go well over an hour recording.
Oh, yeah.
But we spend 3.5 hours on these days together. It'd be great if we could just record that entire thing. But there's
we
a lot
barely
of stuff
get
that
any listeners anyway. I don't know who would listen to us.
If we pushed it to 3.5 hours, I don't know.
I don't know who would just listen to us talking to shit, you know?
I know.
But my friend, shake my hand. This has been
well done.
Awesome. So, 100 more to go?
I hope so. There's no reason to stop at this point.
Oh, yeah.
As long as we're both still living in the same general vicinity. And
I think we should also thank our loyal listeners who listen every week. Is that right?
We love our loyal listeners.
I know, and I know
we know
always,
there's a few of you out there.
We give ourselves a hard time because we get like maybe 15 to 20 listens a week, but it really doesn't matter because the thing is that we find this so much fun, and when we do get that little bit of feedback, it's great and it's humbling to us, and we really appreciate you guys listening, even if it's just to click play, even if you listen for only 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I know most of you do.
You got to remember we get funnier as we move on.
Yeah, so most people are not listening to this humble speech of mine right now.
I know.
But
or any of your humble speeches throughout the throughout the night.
Yeah, so nobody heard that great, that great statement I had for the RNC, but whatever. But, I hope that you guys continue to listen to the show. I hope you guys would help us spread the word because we would really like to inflate our egos much more and get a wider audience and get more people interacting with the show and
don't be afraid to click like.
Yeah, please do. And we mention it all the time. So help spread the message, help give us comments, even if it's just like, hey, good job, hey, that one joke was funny.
And we're going to start pandering.
Yeah,
as much as we can.
I mean, we might as well.
We might as well just start sucking away.
Yeah.
And it'll get us somewhere in this crazy, crazy podcast universe.
So anyway, like I mention every week, please like us on Facebook. Please, and I'm going to add this too. Please help us spread the word. Let your friends know about our show if you enjoyed. If you think they would enjoy it too, let them know. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Please comment on anything we do.
Anything at all. We'd love to just know what you're thinking.
And please listen to us for the next 90 episodes because why not?
Our goal is 100.
Yeah, we'll make it to
100 weeks, which would be
in 2 years, basically.
Yeah. So when King Obama,
Emperor Obama, you will address him as so. We don't want this episode deleted again, right?
Yes. True.
So, Adam, any last thoughts for our 10th episode?
Just also be prepared for more updates to our skinny page.
Yeah,
we have some new pictures at some point, some biographies.
We're planning a makeover of the page, so which would definitely help if you guys helped us spread the word.
Definitely.
There's nothing says a successful makeover like more likes.
Yay.
That's what I always say.
Get up to 100. That's a goal.
So thank you guys for listening. 'Cause I hate coming over to this house. It gives me the creeps.
Back to Mike's dungeon slayer.
Yeah. It's much more comfortable over there. All the women staring at us, moaning in pain. Yeah. Did you take one, by the way? We gotta go now. Damn it.
Look her up on the GPS. We got the tracking device.
Oh, yeah, turn it on. Okay. We'll be back, audience. We'll listen.